Mark, nice to see
Hey,
you.
Brent, it's been a long time.
It has, I was looking and I honestly don't know how long I've known you. I think it's at least a decade. It's been a
Yep.
while. But before we get into that, the drink. You picked
Yes.
beer, okay?
Yep.
So we'll just jump into this real quick.
Yeah.
So in a movie, they always say, "Yeah, I'll have a beer," to the bartender. You can't fucking say that to a bartender. You can't just say, "Hey, I'll have a beer." The bartender would smack you upside the head and be like, "What beer do you want?" Right? And so
Hmm.
you gave to me, "Oh, let's just have a beer." And I was like, "Dude, no, we need to have a real beer." So I
Uh-huh.
picked Delirium Tremens,
Yes.
which I love, and I'll show you that they even have fancy glasses. See these?
Yes. I was
Okay.
looking for one. Mine does not hold up to yours because it's a ball jar.
Yeah. Oh, it's not even a mason jar; it's a ball
Well,
jar.
it's one. Oh, yeah, ball.
Yeah, you're slumming it then. All right,
Yeah, I
that's
know.
cool.
But yes, so here's mine.
Oh, nice. And you recorked it.
Yes, because if I drink this whole thing, I'm gonna be really shit-faced.
That is the goal, Mark. That is the goal.
Okay. I
Okay.
I
Now
watched I
watch.
watched
This is the best part. Okay.
yeah.
Is see if I poke my eye out or just
Oh,
show the camera, like right in the beginning of this whole thing. So
whoa.
nothing broken. Did kind of
It's
scare me. So I got a story on that already. Went
yeah.
to the Moulin Rouge with my wife, for she was my actually I think she was my fiance then. Went to the Moulin Rouge in Paris, and we ordered 2 bottles of champagne, thinking that was normal. Apparently, it's not. And
Hmm.
the first bottle we had, like with everybody else, we asked for the second bottle, and they're in the middle of like some change that happened, and we popped the cork right when I went dead silent during the Moulin Rouge. We heard it hit a chandelier in the air, like it was just kind of dark, and then kerplopped into someone's drink. I was freaked out. I was very freaked out over it. So
I I yeah, I wanted to ask you because I think when we first met, you were not married.
no, I was not. So I was single and crazy at the time. My tweets back then were rather desperate for attention. Let's just put it that way. But people
Hmm.
loved it, and I think I was like top 100 on Twitter for a while. I joined early, like 2008, and I still got like 20,000 some odd followers on Twitter, but most of them are just spam. Like, no offense for those that are not spam, but a lot of them are spam. And then
Hmm.
my claim to fame still is that I have Alyssa Milano that's still following me.
Wow.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. And she was one of the first people that I got connected to on Twitter that got a hold of me and like talked to me. I actually helped her out on an online reputation management thing. She had a video, let's just call it an edgy video that she did in between Who's the Boss and whatever else, like Charmed or whatever. And she had a new show coming on ABC, and this video was showing up, and it's like, I won't even get into it. It's graphic. Okay. Anyway, it's showing up, and we had to help remove it. Or actually, it was me because I was still working for Tribune at the time. And luckily, I got it taken care of, pushed
Wait,
down off of Google within like
I
5
think
days.
I think I watched that clip over and over back then because I know what you're talking about. She did one of those, HBO or Skinamax type movies, right?
Yes, yes. There may have been like a cross involved and a vampire. So it
Ah,
was,
oh yes,
yeah.
yes. She's a lovely woman.
She is, and she's
Uh,
very political now, and she's doing some amazing stuff. I guess she just started filming a new show. They went through 2 weeks of quarantine just recently, and she's doing that. And yeah, she's an awesome woman. So you know what?
yeah.
We're all teenagers at some point. We do stupid things sometimes,
Well, you ended up with your own Alyssa Milano because your wife is a very lovely, gorgeous woman. So
Thank you.
how the hell did you get somebody like that to say yes?
I was 100% commission salesperson in my 20s, and apparently I still can sell when I need to. So
Mm,
no, I'll tell you the story, but first let's cheers. Okay. So
okay.
cheers. Nice to see you. Okay.
Nice to see
Thank
you,
you.
Clink.
Clink. I love
You
it.
got the better glass than me.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, that's good. See?
Mm-hmm.
I like it because it has a little more punch to it. And it doesn't feel as bloating as most of the other beers are. I mean, it's got some kick to it. It's like
It's 8%.
Oh, you already looked it up, huh?
I like to plan these things.
8.5.
Right.
You gotta get the 0.5 in there.
Yeah.
8.5%. And
Yeah.
but it doesn't taste like a bourbon beer. I don't like the bourbon beers. So what is your favorite drink? Like other than beer, do you just not drink much and you just drank because of this interview or what?
I'll be honest. And so I when I went to I have a Binny's about a block away. Bad idea, right? Because I was gonna go there. I'm just gonna get this one bottle, but no, I came back with like 4 things. So here is Pabst.
Nice.
Blue,
Wait, which one is it? Hard cold brew. Is it
hard cold brew? It's hard coffee.
Oh, coffee.
It's a coffee and beer combination drink. I've never tried it.
Yeah, try it. Try it right now. Just take a sip of it.
No. I don't want to open it because it's gonna ruin this. You can invite me back another day, but all right. So I'm trying to answer your question. So that was one. Then I also got this, which is Mars Brewing, a local microbrew here. It's cold brew coffee plus CBD. CBD. We could talk about that. I told you we're going to talk about drugs.
Yeah, I love it. This is great.
Then the last thing was this. It's apple cider, no alcohol, but CBD. So I'm to answer your question, I'm a coffee guy. I love coffee. I love caffeine.
Yeah.
And lately I've been experimenting. Like there's a combination of CBD.
Experimenting with caffeine or CBD?
Together.
Okay, all right. Talk to me. Talk to me about this.
I don't know how this happened, but there's cannabis is legal here in Illinois. So everybody knows, there's a huge industry developing around it. I became interested and went to some of these industry conferences. A lot of the big players were there, free samples, so like, okay, I'll try. I had never tried CBD. And, I'll admit in the past, I have tried marijuana. It's all right, but I never really got into it.
I'm totally with you. I have a story for you when we're done. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, but they had these CBD products and I was like, well, what is CBD? And I mean, in short, it's like a miracle drug that, you can use it for topical purposes. If you have inflammation, pain, you can also take it internally and it has, effects, which I think are helpful. I use it more just to be, productivity and efficiency. It's almost like a smart drug for me.
Really?
Yeah, it helps you because if you just drink coffee by itself, right, you get that buzz, that rush.
You're jumping around. At least I am. I'm jumping around from I have 4 screens here, but I'm jumping around to screen to screen to screen. And it's like, I need it to get me energized and like firing, but I almost get too
jittery and
scattered.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm in a dead silent room. You can see I'm in the top floor of a 3-car garage. Like there's no sound in here at all. It's like a studio in here, but yet I still get distracted by having all the screens and the caffeine's going, and
then you get the crash, right? Then you get the crash.
I don't know if I crash. Maybe I just have too much caffeine during the day where I don't crash until like dinner time. But how's the CBD help here?
Well, I think when you combine it with coffee, it kind of smooths it out, so you don't feel so jittery. So, sometimes I first started, I went, and got you can get little bottles of it and just take it like under the tongue.
Okay.
So you can take it straight. But now like some coffee houses, you can get your espresso with a shot of CBD.
Well, cheers to that, man.
Yes. Well,
cheers to that. I love it. It's great.
So you asked me, what is my drink? So I'm a coffee guy because I right now am just trying to fire on all cylinders. And beer has an interesting effect. Like sometimes you take it and actually gives you more energy to work.
The only one that it does, tequila does that to me. And I think I've looked it up. It seems to be like a scientific thing about the agave and blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's just all marketing, but tequila is my alcohol of choice because it keeps me going. It keeps me happy, but I don't feel as like tired and run down like I do with beer. And beer just, for me, it just a lot of liquid, just a lot of liquid.
Well, I'm not a beer expert, but I think, you know, delirium tremens, it's a Belgian style. It sits in the same space as what they call doubles or triples. And these are you know, they're like higher quality beers that are re-distilled to have higher alcohol. And so they taste more like, you know, a brandy. Or what were you drinking last week with your friend Boggs?
Actually, I still have it here.
Okay.
Tequila.
Oh, tequila. Okay.
Yeah, see, tequila.
Yeah.
And I love tequila, but I am also a Scotch drinker. I love my scotches. I like the really peaty scotches though. So peat is like that smoky flavor that you get inside of the whiskeys and the scotches.
Yeah.
I used to spend way too much money at the Franklin Room downtown. Like thousands of dollars a month down there, entertaining clients and stuff when we had our office down there. And man, I love the peaty whiskeys. And so I found one from them called Octomore by Bruichladdich, and I loved it. I love it. It's like super peaty, like peat per millimeter, peat per whatever M. I don't know what the M stands for. But the ppms are like in the 220s, which are outrageous. Like most things are like, you know, in the 100s maybe. Like the Lagavulin 16 is known as kind of a smokier, like shelf whiskey. But anyway, I love them. I think they're great. But weed is not really my thing. So I've tried it several times. Okay.
No, I'm an old guy now, Brent. So I gotta schedule those things because I got, like yourself, I have kids.
Right.
I have a wife, you know, I got a task list. And so now I have to say, hey, do I have like 6 to 12 hours with nothing to do? Because if I try, you know, I'm gonna be out of commission. So yeah.
And that's my problem. So I actually took 30 CEOs from the cannabis industry out snow skiing about 5 years ago. I think it was a midlife crisis now that I look back at it. I was just really into the adrenaline sports, trying to like make something happen outside of SEO. You know, I was going through a moment where I felt like I wasn't really making a true impact to the world. Like I was pushing one side up to number one and pushing another one down to number two, and like net impact to the world was zero, right? I'm helping someone and hurting someone else.
Yeah.
And so I really, it got into my headspace for a while, mainly because I married a teacher. And so I really respect teachers and what they've done and all that stuff. So anyway, so I got into that space and I tried to like change some stuff. But during this process, I took out 30 CEOs in the cannabis industry and just had a great time with them. We went snow skiing, all this stuff. We rented it's a weed limo, like, or whatever, cannabis limo, whatever the right words are. Like you can tell I'm not cool. But we rented a cannabis limo from the downtown area up to the ski resort. And we went to, what's the name of the place? It's got, there's a certain mountain there that is called something, can't remember. Anyway, bottom line is we got on this weed limo and it was huge, like a giant van, almost like a bus. All right. And they were all sharing the goods. Right. So I had blunts coming by, I had vapes coming by, I had oils, and I had, you name it. Like if you can think of it, it was there in that bus and just passing it around. I tried because, you know, I was the host. So what was I supposed to do? I was laid out flat as a fucking pancake. Like, and I had to get everybody like their lift passes and get their boots and their skis. And like, I was supposed to get everyone on the mountain skiing at like 9 a.m. No, I laid in the steps of the bus until like 9:45, just unable to move. Like my legs just get all floppy, you know, it's like just floppy. And every time I smoke or consume marijuana or cannabis in any way, I fall asleep. Like, and that's not fun. Like I'd rather have a beer and a Monster or a Red Bull or whatever and have a good time with people than fall asleep on cannabis. So I can see its usage, but I just don't see where it's fun. Like I don't see the fun part of it. And I've tried it all. Like everyone's like, oh, you got to try, what are the different types you got? The sativa versus the
Right.
indica, and like I've tried them all. I've tried it literally, and I've counted 17 times in my life, and every time is exactly the same. I
Hmm.
end up laid out flat as a pancake, sleeping somewhere.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
just
I have to ask you because I know you mentioned that story. What was the outcome of that? Did you actually get business out of that trip?
so oddly, I got one client, but not until about 4 months ago from it.
Uh-huh.
They're not even in the cannabis space anymore. I can't say who it is, but that was a very, very, very slow return on ROI there. And it was a $60,000 contract we just got. Profit probably be 20K, maybe 30K. So good margins on it. But yeah, it took almost 5 years to turn that around. And I guess that means I should have been more patient on what I was trying to do. It's called House Acros, is what it was. And the idea was to make real connections, kind of like these calls, right? Like these I Drink With Brent, like make a real connection with someone by doing something insane, like jumping in out of an airplane, whitewater rafting, snow skiing, driving high-end sports cars around a track, like all these different things. And I really enjoyed doing it, but the amount of money I was spending, and I should have made everyone pay for their own way because these are people that could have afforded it. I just didn't want it to be that. I didn't want to be one of those situations where you you can't go unless you can afford to go drive a car for $500 a lap, right? And so I paid for way too much crap, and they are now slowly paying back. I had another one that paid back for a trip to Park City that we did once. So they're paying back now, but it's like it was a 5 year turn, and I didn't have the stomach, I guess, to wait that long.
But I mean, it's a relationships, right? You kept in touch with all of
Yes.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've kept in touch with them, and maybe I haven't done it quite right because maybe I should have business back from them by now. Maybe I'm not pushing the sales hard enough. You don't know as an entrepreneur like all the mistakes you're making really, and I guess you can't double guess, double guess yourself. But yeah, like those are the scenarios, Mark, where it's like, am I missing something here? Like what as an entrepreneur, what am I missing in this? Like this should be easier to do this. You know what I mean?
I know you talked earlier that we wanted to touch on Clubhouse and stuff like that. There's a certain mentality, I think, out in Silicon Valley, which listening to some of these dudes go on in these rooms, out there, failure is viewed, it's not viewed as a negative, it's like a part of life. And it's almost celebrated like, oh, you started .com of this and it failed, well, awesome. And
Right.
the current CEOs of Clubhouse, he launched a couple of things that didn't pan out. And now he's, got an investment of what, $100 million from Andreessen Horowitz. Company's valued at $1 billion.
And it's working. Like this is one of the few times I think a social media site might actually work again, because I haven't seen social media work since Twitter and Facebook. And I guess LinkedIn was kind of old. Well, it was a little before that, but that was the last, and that was 12, 15 years ago.
Well, I mean, some of it, people say it's the pandemic, right? We're all stuck at home. And what a perfect excuse is to log in. It's kind of like replaced South by Southwest or tech conferences and whatever.
Yeah.
So,
So
we'll
are you
see.
on Clubhouse? Are you in like are you in the Clubhouse? I'm on Clubhouse. Every
Yeah.
time I get on though, it's like what I don't like about it is that it's a podcast without the organization, right? Without not organization even. It's a podcast without the production value. Okay. It's kind of maybe like this thing, right? Like there's no editing that happens. It's just a podcast. And I wonder whether that's going to have legs later. But I'm seeing some really influential people on Clubhouse, but always after hours. Like, I don't know what these guys do. Like at 9 o'clock at night, I got some really important people that I very much respect hopping on Clubhouse. And I'm like, dude, do you not have 4 kids? Like, what's the
Well,
deal? Like,
what's interesting, yes, I've been on Clubhouse since 2 days before Christmas. So
okay.
I'm still relatively new, but I've been on there longer than a lot of most of the people that are coming on now. One of the hottest shows on Clubhouse takes place at midnight Central Time. It's called Good Time. And your boy Elon was on there a few weeks ago. And that like almost broke the room because it's hosted by two of these Silicon Valley power couples. Mark Andreessen is a guest, Gary Tan, who's well-known Silicon, and they have all their insiders on this show.
Yeah.
And they usually bring in, they brought in Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg dropped in, Elon, they have like Hollywood celebrities, but to your point, it's midnight. So like I'm tuning in, I'm staying up. It's 10 p.m. for those guys.
Right.
But 1 a.m. on the East Coast. I don't know.
And there's no recording of this stuff, right? Like it's just you're either there or there's not.
Well, so that's a whole nother discussion. People have hacked their private API. So everything is being recorded. You shouldn't assume that everything you say is just in the moment.
Yeah.
Which brings up a lot of privacy issues, but they are recording behind the scenes for trust and safety. If somebody says something racist, then they have a record of it.
Yeah.
But
it's smart of them. So I would never assume that something inside of Clubhouse would be private, but you do get the mindset of letting down your guard because you feel like it's only X number of people, right?
Right.
And I like that. It's kind of like what these turn into too, where it's like, oh, I was just talking to Brent, it's fine. 3-4 beers later, but no, like this is available publicly, and with Clubhouse, it's kind of like right now I could turn on Clubhouse and I could drop right into any conversation, and you and I are recording a YouTube video or a Zoom video that I could just sit here and let it play. Just like and done.
Well, and to your point, those rooms with the celebrities, so Clubhouse, the room, they've increased it since then, but at the time there could only be a max of 5,000 people. So what users did was they create all these clone rooms and started streaming the audio to YouTube.
Of course.
Because when Elon was in there's probably 20-30,000 people listening to him.
Yeah.
It's a vanity thing. Clubhouse started out as a way for these Silicon Valley insiders to kind of just chit chat and talk business. And I don't know if that was always the plan. They made it very exclusive. You needed an invite, and now they're opening it up. So I don't know. I mean, they sort of like let the rabble in.
Yeah.
But there's interesting stuff going on there. People are producing musicals, comedy shows. There's rooms where it's all music. There's a lot of creative.
Have you produced any cool or interesting content? I know you're so let's talk a little about you. So so you're a content creator. You've been like on the bleeding edge of a lot of the Web 2.0 stuff, right? Kind of the end of Web 1.0 with Web 2.0. I met you at Tribune with a bunch of who's. Like, what have you been doing the last 10, 12 years since I met you? Like, what's your thing today? I don't need like a 12-year history, but what's your thing today? And then I do want to get back to where were you born? Where are you raised? How did you end up where you are now? Let's get into some of the deep history.
Yeah.
But for now, let's start with who are you today?
Wow. Who am I today? Like everybody.
Man, we're going in. Okay.
Yeah, I need another drink.
Right.
I mean, well, so it's interesting. We're having this talk on March 12th, 2021, 1 year into the
Was it exactly 1 year?
I think it was yesterday, the 11th was the official. Okay. And so COVID and pandemic has changed all of us, as a country, as individuals. It's caused a lot of us to, reassess what's important. We loved ones that we've lost. So, I've been on a long journey to sort of figuring out what it is I want to do. I mentioned I have 2 kids. And so pretty much for the past decade, I've been a stay-at-home parent.
Okay.
I left Northwestern. I was at Northwestern University School of Education. Then I had my first child. She became 3. And I was like, okay, do we do the nanny full-time thing or what?
Stay home, yeah.
Yeah. So I met some dads and they were doing the stay-at-home thing. And I was like, oh, I can do this. It's not too hard. So this was like 2006-ish
Okay.
when my daughter was 3. And then so I took the plunge. I left Northwestern, haven't looked back.
Yeah, but that's scary though. Was that scary leaving Northwestern?
I mean, professionally at the time, I recall it's like, so, universities are structured in 2 ways. You have little old ladies with gray hair who've been there for 25 years.
Right.
They're not going anywhere till they die.
Yes.
Then you have younger people, and then they hang around for a year or 2, get their masters,
Take off.
and take off, right? Because they can make more money elsewhere. You can only do like a lateral move, unless your manager dies and you maybe find another job somewhere else. So
good point.
I was in that ladder, and I was like, yeah, it's a cool place, professors meet interesting grad students, but there's no career path for me. So, my daughter was born, and it's like, you never get this chance to see your kids grow up, right?
Very good, man. Very good.
And also I have the benefit that my wife is the breadwinner of the family. She has a job which is flexible.
What'd she do?
She's a consultant with an environmental company. They manage landfills, so
Okay.
trash is never going away.
No, unfortunately, it's not.
Job security.
Yeah. So she consults landfills on like how to best what
I mean, the design. There's a lot of testing. There's the EPA reporting. If you don't want to make it leak pollution into the ground.
Okay, so she works a lot with the government agencies, making sure that she has a environment or whatever. Okay,
right.
Okay,
a lot of compliance work.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was 2003, and I watched my kids grow up. That daughter now, she's 17.
Yeah.
And just got her driver's license. So holy shit.
Yeah. Now I have a 17-year-old as well, and he lives in DC with his mom because I had a marriage before I met Marina, and it's tough at this age because at least as a divorced parent, as a broken home, it's a transition period, and I always hoped it would be a time where I could pull him under my wing and he could live near me. I don't know if that's going to happen. He's looking at colleges that are far enough away from mom that he'll have a little bit of his independence. But I don't, and maybe I messed this up too. Again, coming back to what am I fucking up in life, right? Maybe I should have pushed harder for Illinois schools. Maybe I should have pushed harder for, the things around here. But there's a balance of not wanting to force feed a certain mindset or path for your child and still massage them to an outcome,
Oh yeah. Oh, I told.
It's a balance, and it's tough.
No, it is tough. I'm dealing with this right now because there's stuff that you see as a parent, right? And I've learned.
Yeah.
I was telling them the other day about, oh, don't do this when I was in college, or I did that. Of course, it's like, oh, whatever, you're old, you don't know, but
Right.
So lately I've taken a lot of interest in 3D technology because I really think this is the future. And there's some
3D
software.
printing?
No, not necessarily 3D printing, like 3D visualization.
Wait a second. I have got something that I wanted to share.
Oh, you're gonna put some goggles on? Oculus?
No, you're gonna love this. You're gonna love this because I found this today when I was can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is what I pictured us being like at the end of our call. Okay.
Okay.
See this? Look at
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
He looks like me after I've been drinking for a while. He's just kind of slobbering around. What is this, Mark? I've never even heard of this game. What are we looking at here?
Human Fall Flat. I have not played with this game, but it sounds like one of those trendy games that are going around now, like Among Us and Fall Guys.
Isn't this you? or just a false positive?
Oh, wait. Wow, this is the first time I've seen this video, and now I'm noticing that it's under my account.
Yeah, and you streamed it live. Is this for one of your kids?
Yes, probably. So, all right.
Oh, I was like, what is this that Mark's doing? Like he's
we have
a drunk guy in like some 3D world smashing into elevators. Like, what is this?
Okay, I think I figured it out. So a while back, I opted into Stadia. Do you know what Stadia is?
I do not. What is it?
Stadia is Google's play into cloud gaming. So, in the old days, we went and bought a CD or DVD. Nowadays, you download all your games to your computer, right?
Of course, yeah.
So the next iteration of it is there's no download. The game is in your browser and you just play it in the cloud. Okay. So Stadia is Google's venture into cloud gaming.
Okay.
I signed up for a trial account, and again, we have a family, so I upgraded to whatever Google's family plan.
Right. And so that's messing around with it.
That's my kid probably playing the game. And with Stadia, you can stream your gameplay to your YouTube channel.
Right, of course.
Yeah, so that was probably my son. He's a 7th grader now.
Okay, okay. It makes more sense. I was like, what? I got to ask him what this is. And, and I wanted to dig into that for a little bit.
I was scared shitless because last week with your friend Boggs, you were scanning his Twitter account going, what is going on?
Oh, don't worry. We're going to do the same thing right now with you. So.
Oh, okay.
Well, we're going to check you out a little bit. So.
Well, while you're doing that.
So what the fuck is this graphic? This thing is like, I don't think I've read this much content in my life. And it's a big one. This is what spurred my Clubhouse conversation with you. I was like, Jesus, what is it?
So today I hosted a Twitter space, which is Twitter's answer to Clubhouse. It's their audio room, which is in beta.
I've never even heard of this. So can I access this?
No, well, sort of. I am in the beta program, so I can launch a Twitter space audio room, which is what I did today at noon. You can join it as a listener, but you cannot start your own room.
Okay.
Twitter is going to make this available to everybody in April, and it's their what I call Clubhouse killer.
Yeah.
So yeah. So what this graphic is I was networking with this gentleman. You could see in my tweet, his Twitter handle is Mohits Movies. He's a social media consultant. And he dropped in my room and said, hey, Mark, I'm working on this guide to Clubhouse. Do you want to use this? And I'm like, sure. So he sent this to me. I uploaded it. And yeah, it's basically a guide for how to navigate and strategize around Clubhouse.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I don't even know if we want to break this down right now. I think I'm more interested now in Twitter Space. So can you talk to us more about Twitter Spaces? So it's an audio.
It's an audio room.
Are you allowed to share your screen of what it is?
You mean right now?
Yeah, right now. Can you do that?
No, because it's iOS only.
Got it.
So I'm on my desktop right now. I could launch a room on my phone, but then it's just too clunky. If I'm happy to host you, Brent. If you ever want to experience it, just let me know. We'll schedule something, or we could do this on Clubhouse. Like, why don't you invite all 20 of these people and we all have a drink in a Clubhouse room?
Dude, that would be, you know what? Cheers to that idea. I love that idea. Cheers.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like fun. I like it.
But you got 18 more of these, right?
Oh, a lot more than that. I don't know what my current sign up is. I guess I could look. No, I better not. I don't dare.
You have a fucking amazing, insane amount of tabs open.
Oh, that's just one screen. I got 4 screens just like that. So
well, it's a good thing you have this ultra fast internet at your house.
Yeah. Well, let me talk to you about that. So AT&T kind of screwed me on that. Let me drag over my computer though, because I'm very, very proud of how amazing my computer is. So let me grab it real quick. I spent
I've been following you. I've been following you, Brent, and I don't know if we have time just in this one session, but
look at this. Look at this bad boy computer I've got here, though. Okay. I named her Stella. Okay. Why did I name her Stella?
all I see is your Windows 10 screen.
Yeah, I know. You see my Windows 10 screen. I'm showing you my stats. Okay.
Okay.
96 gigs. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Of RAM. Okay. 64-bit operating system, whatever. 3.5 gigahertz like CPU, 12 core, baby. 12 core processor.
This, you are ready to start your OnlyFans porn empire.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Because I'm like,
a
why
drink
does
with
Brent,
Brent and then maybe something else,
I mean, why you have so much bandwidth and RAM? You could be like streaming on Twitch while you're doing this right now.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, I like whatever. I actually have a crawl going on right now. I'm 800,000 URLs into a crawl since we started. So I've got like multiple connections going on. But anyway, back to my bandwidth complaint with AT&T. So I bought an AT&T fiber line, $1,800 a month line coming into this house because I wanted to have unfettered internet, period. It was a 512 by 512 line. And you know what? It sucked. Like it was absolutely dreadful. And it wasn't necessarily the uptime. I did like the uptime. But for $1,800, I would want God himself, and I know you're at one God on Twitter, but like I would want God himself to like clear a path on the internet for me and just make it just that was not happening. So what I've done is for anyone else out there too, I highly recommend this. Then this is a COVID only scenario. You can get residential internet and business internet into the same address for the first time in ever because of COVID. So I now have, because I got rid of AT&T at $1,800, it's insanity. I now have AT&T, no, not AT&T, Xfinity consumer, 1 gig down, 30 megs up. And then I have business, 1 gig down, 35 megs up. I don't know why they do 35, but they do. Okay. And I have 2 massive pipes coming into this house now. I'm also going to get Verizon into this house. And I'm going to get AT&T, but not the fiber, coming into the house too. And then I'm going to break up my home. Okay. I'm going to have the desktop have its own pipe, period. Like my work desktop can have its own pipe. It can do its own thing. Boom. Then I'm going to have all the Nest cams. I'm kind of obsessed with Nest cams, 19 to 20 of them, depending on how you want to slice it. Okay. And that'll have its own pipe too, with back and forth. And then the last thing is going to be the Apple TVs will be a third one. So all the Apple, pretty much all Apple devices. And then the fourth one's going to be just Zoom, like whoever's on Zoom, except for my desktop. The kids are on Zoom every day now, all day long.
Yeah.
And when we had the AT&T fiber, it was very, very pristine, no problems. And I have to give them credit for that, but not for $1,800. And my wife, now that we've dropped it, and I'm just on an Xfinity pipe because my Comcast pipe comes in next week, it sucks. Like it's like the kids are falling apart. I prioritize on my network my desktop, so no matter what, this thing's set. Like the whole house can fall apart. But
that's it's interesting you bring that up because I don't have what you have, but we do have 2 internet providers coming in. I live in a co-op building where we have 8 units and we all share the internet connection. So for the past couple of years, we have oh, it's all done. I'm a little bit behind you. I'm a little bit behind you. So let me
gotta catch up, buddy.
Oh man, this is gonna be.
Come on, dig in. You can do it.
Okay. Hey, the longer we talk, the more I drink.
Yeah, that's the idea.
So we had Comcast Business, and that's I love business because it's a more stable service than consumer, and it's pretty much worked for all 8 units. We have a mesh Wi-Fi network going.
Yep.
But then, AT&T came calling, and people are all raving about this 1 gigabyte fiber service. So one day, my doorbell rings, I answer it, and it's this young guy, AT&T. I know, but he was a nice guy, and I knew we wanted to do this anyway. So I'm like, sign me up. So
How much
now
was
we
it?
have $75 a month
Yeah, I know. Because you're not in the suburbs. Where are you at?
in Chicago.
Yeah, downtown.
No, Logan Square,
Yeah,
Northwest
that's
side.
downtown. That's
Okay,
downtown.
okay.
Okay. All right. Now you go
It's
out to the
consumer
burbs.
though.
Yeah, you go out to. I know, but you go out to the burbs. I'm in Northfield. Okay,
Mhm.
which I lovingly call the redheaded stepchild of Winnetka because we share the same zip code. No offense to redheaded stepchildren, by the way, right? But I share the same zip code, but I'm across the freeway. My in-laws who live in Winnetka, they asked us if we still get the what was it called? There's some yuppie newspaper, the Winnetka Current. That's what it is. Do you still get the Winnetka Current all the way out there in Northfield? I'm 3 fucking miles away from like Winnetka. Give me a break. Like it's literally 3 miles from my house to you. Like, I, the saltiness of Winnetkans against Northfield is insane. It is like so I like Northfield better. You know why? We don't have all the like pomp and circumstance out here.
Mhm.
But what I don't like about it is that we have to pay through the nose for technology. It's outrageous. And I had to have a special fiber line put into the house. They drilled a pipe 7 feet underground over to my house. And that's why it cost so much. But that's why I had to get out as soon as I was able to.
Yeah.
It was just too much. So
So I mean, I got this AT&T internet, and it's pretty much sitting unused. And the reason why is, some of my neighbors are like, why are we paying for this Comcast? Because Comcast, for Comcast, let's see, we're paying 120 a month, and we know next year when the renewal, they're probably going to double that. So I got the AT&T because like, okay, it's $75, but it's consumer grade, and we're testing it right now to see if it can hold up to 8 units simultaneously. And it's not just 8 units. My unit, like you, my kids are on remote school all day.
yeah,
Wife's at work. I'm on multiple devices.
yeah.
You got all these Apple device, Chromecasts, all this. So um, I want to see if we can hold up just with AT&T, but I am also probably like you wanting to use AT&T as a dedicated.
So I've got Eero. Okay. Now at
Uh-huh.
any given time, there are like dozens,
Mhm.
dozens. I'm probably breaking massive security laws or security protocols here. Dozens. These are all
That's
connected to
all
the internet
you?
right now.
That's
All
all
connected.
you?
Yeah, this is just me connected to the internet
Wow.
right now at
It's
this
like a
given
lot
point.
of, well, because you said you have 19 Nest cameras.
Yes, and Sonos and 11 Alexas and I don't know. I think the number's 200 and some odd Hue light bulbs. It's like
Yeah.
and I loved it. It was so much fun, but then you didn't realize like how much you're choking, like the pipe coming in and out of there. So
Yeah. Yeah.
anyway, all right, back to business. Okay, so talk to me about your Instagram.
Oh my God. I don't use Instagram.
Well, what is Dashcam Fest? This looked interesting to me. What is
Okay.
it?
Man, you have been like, I'm glad you're not the FBI.
Oh no, I saw the other stuff. I just wasn't, we're trying to keep
Okay.
it somewhat PC here, Mark. Okay.
Okay.
All right. What you
This
do after 1 a.m. is your own thing. It's like that's fine. No big deal. Okay.
No, this was like a passion project. I've been sort of nursing it along, but again, before COVID, all right. Most people don't know this about me. I was been an Uber and Lyft driver for 2.5 years. I've done over
Really?
5,000. Yeah, I've done over 5,000 rides. And obviously, when COVID hit last year, that all came crashing to a halt.
Yeah.
So what Dashcam Festival is I was thinking, a lot of us Uber, Lyft drivers, we're artists, writers, actors, doing creative stuff. And why don't we have a festival that celebrates the 24/7 gig economy, hustlers? It was kind of modeled after, like Chicago Ideas Festival.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I want to do something like that, or like South by Southwest. And I didn't want to do Chicago Ideas Festival because I think that it sucked. Sorry, I just have to say that, you can bleep that out if you want. If some rich guy wants to have a festival and invite Rahm Emanuel, then okay, great. But this was going to be like for the people, right? Like for the working class, and so originally what I thought was, okay, I would, approach bars and restaurants, and we would have like music, show movies. I mean, people have made movies about being an Uber driver. I mean, they're out there. And
That would be kind of interesting.
yeah,
And they do these like celebrity pickup taxi things or whatever. But here, cheers, by the way. I got to see a chug. I got to see a chug that mason jar. You can do it. Go, go. Go, Mark. Go, Mark. Go, Mark. You got it. No, nothing. What happened?
No, dude, I
was back your college days. Where'd you go to college at?
University of Michigan. I lived in a fraternity, so I was never the chugger. I can't even pick fraternities correctly because I joined the nerdy engineering fraternity.
What was it called?
Triangle.
The Triangle?
Triangle, yeah, just like you. Triangle.
Oh yeah, like my space.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
My there.
Your whole background is like an Asia album.
So, little known fact about my wife, okay?
Okay.
She hates all bands that are named after a geography. She doesn't like Chicago. She doesn't like Kansas. She doesn't like America. She doesn't like Asia. She doesn't like Boston. And I'm like, you have a problem with bands named after geographies. And she was like, maybe I do. It was like a big realization. And it took her months to get over this. Like she would literally lay on her leather couch and just ponder, like, why?
Is she one of the people you're going to interview for this series?
Oh, that is a fucking great idea, Mark. I love that idea.
I bet she won't do it.
Oh, if she's smart, she won't. For one, our baby will die in the meantime because I have a 10-month-old baby born on Mother's Day. Yes, I'm that good that I can time it perfectly to have the baby on Mother's Day.
Congratulations, by the way.
Yes, thank you. So born on Mother's Day, and she's hooked on mom. Like we've had 3 kids together. I've had one more from a previous marriage.
Man, you got Brent, it's called birth control.
You know what? I'll get a little personal here because why not? We're drinking, okay? Honeymoon done. Baby showed up. We did the math. It was on the honeymoon. For all you judgmental people that think it happened before the honeymoon, it did not. Okay. We did the math. Number 2, hey, we should probably have another kid. A week later, done. Okay. Number 3, 3 days later, done. Okay.
Is this it? 3 kids?
Yeah. Well, it's my 4th, but I'm out.
Okay. Right. I know you have the older.
I'm out.
Snip time.
Not yet. No. So we'll go one more step deeper. You went there, so we're gonna go there. Yeah. Had it scheduled, Mark.
Yeah.
Went to the preliminary appointment where the doctor more or less says, hey, this is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna pull, I'm gonna snip, and you're gonna be like having peas. And I'm like, frozen peas. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah. And I like, yeah, schedule for next week. Night before I'm supposed to go get it done, my wife gets on this weird kick and she's like, why are you doing this tomorrow? I'm like, because we're done having kids. She's like, yeah, hell yeah, we're done having kids. But why are you doing this tomorrow? I'm like, because we're done having kids. She's like, yeah, but it's self-mutilation. Like, it's mutilation. I'm like, ooh, that's a strong word. Like, stop saying words like that when you're talking about those areas. And she's like, but it is. I'm like, dear, every guy in my family has done this. All of them. Dads, uncles, cousins, all of them. They've done this. And she said, and I hope my family doesn't hear this, well, then I guess I love my husband more than they do. No, I won't allow you. I won't allow you to go through that just because we don't want to have any more kids. And I was like, okay. So I didn't do it. I can't, like, that was such a strong statement from my wife. And I guess it speaks volumes about, how my wife and I work so well together. Like we're very we're very blunt. She's more eloquent in the word choices, but we're very direct in our communication with each other. And I think that means a lot to our marriage, where we can have those conversations and be like, you know what? No.
So
And
you canceled this.
I canceled, and we were sober. Like that sounds like a drunken conversation, but it wasn't. That was a sober conversation, and I canceled it. So
Does she want another child?
no, like she wants. I actually am all in now. I'm just like, fuck it. I'm gonna be like 68 by the time my kids are 62. By the time my kids are out of the house, that means I will always have children in my house. Period.
Elon has 4 kids, I think.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to mimic him. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna just like him. I'm just saying, we're kind of on the same level.
You and that, the whole Tesla thing. You were Mr. Tesla.
Mark, I am all in on Tesla. All in on Tesla. And here's why. I had the opportunity in the late 90s to be very close to Amazon when they were going through their growth spurt, and going through the criticisms and going through the hard times, and people telling Bezos it would never work and no one wants to wait a week for, and books don't have the market cap that you need, this is unjustified, and why are you spending so much money building out a distribution center for this, and I watched it happen, and I knew the entire time, because I was selling products on Amazon first. I was selling flashcards for digital cameras on Amazon. They were my top client. We sold $2.3 million worth of flashcards. It changed my life. I made $287,000 a year at 23 years old, and that's what I did. And I knew it. And I wish I would have not viewed stocks as gambling during my religious years. And my religious years were age 14 to 27. But I considered it gambling. And so I never put any money into Amazon. I knew it'd work, but I didn't do it. And so I see the same scenario with Tesla, where a super intelligent CEO, you finishing it up?
Maybe. We'll see. Oh, wait.
Oh, get it. Ah! There you go. Whew.
There's a little bit more. I'll probably finish it.
Good man.
I don't know. How are we doing time? Oh wait, we're at the
we're getting close. We got another 5-10 minutes. Okay. If you will commit to finishing the delirium, then I'll commit to running this until you finish it.
Okay.
So anyway, Elon, love him. I believe that he will absolutely change the world, or get us off world. I think that he has the only amount of money that is possible to say fuck you to the oil industry. And he's the only one that can pull that off. And I think that there have been a lot of people trying to stop him. The technology, Mark, is better, period. Hands down. I own a Tesla Model 3, fully loaded, every bell and whistle you can think of.
I saw you playing video games with your son in the car.
Yeah. And it's not the Model S. Why is it not the Model S? Because the Model S would have been $140,000, and I can't do that. This was 75 as it was, which is a lot of money. And there's just a different level that I'm not at yet, to hit that level. And I was like, okay, no. And I don't like the feel of the S. It's too smooth. It's too luxurious. It's too soft. I like to drive a car. Just drive it. You know what I mean?
Have you toggled fully automated driving mode?
Oh, all the time.
Really?
Oh, you mean from just like a week ago when Elon said that?
No,
I don't see that. I don't see it yet. I don't see that. But I do FSD all the time. All the time. I use it all the time.
And how does that work? Like, is it like assisted driving?
Literally do not touch the wheel all the way to downtown Chicago. It is fucking amazing. I'm texting.
Is that legal?
No, it's not legal. I'm texting all the way to downtown Chicago for an hour and a half, doing nothing.
You trust it on the Kennedy? How does it handle all those crazy Uber drivers? Okay, done.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
How do you handle all
Uber
those
driver?
crazy...
What's the craziest thing you've seen as an Uber driver? Sex.
Well, okay. I remember I told you at the start of this, we talked about drugs, sex, murder.
Yes.
Haven't had the murderer yet. Well, not me. There was another Uber driver that was murdered, but the sex
did
thing.
you know him?
No, this was a guy in Skokie. It was so
Yeah, no, it
sad.
doesn't count if you don't know him. Yeah, it's like anyone can talk about the news, whatever. All right.
Right. No.
So talk to me about the sex part then.
Well, okay. So one night, I specialize in working late nights, bar close, weekends. So I was in Boys Town. I picked up this, young, attractive couple after the bars closed. I don't even remember where I was taking them. Wasn't too far. They start talking. And the young woman started getting really animated because she was talking with this guy. I don't know if they were a new couple or whatever. And she was like, I cannot believe you sucked a dick. You sucked a dick. And then, and she kept going on and on, like, okay, so this guy, he maybe was bi, whatever. And I'm first of all, you're like, okay, I'm your driver, right? I'm listening to everything you're saying.
And that's what I love about Uber drivers, though, is that you can say crazy shit in the back of the car, and they always act so stoic that it's like.
Well, right, but in our minds we're going, shit, what the hell?
No, like literally psychologically damaged for the rest of your life.
Yeah, it's just not
shit
even.
That I said, not from this. But if I said like, hey man, so we did a great job behind that body earlier today, didn't we? Yeah. Oh yeah, we did a great job. Like I loved fucking with Uber drivers, especially late at night. Oh yeah, all the time. I wouldn't say murder because I was worried I might get arrested or something.
No, but let me tell you, we fuck with you back because passengers always ask us, so what do you do? And we just make shit up. It's like, oh yeah, I'm a novelist. I'm working on a Hollywood script. Because why? Because we fucking get asked that a million times, right? So we just whatever. I'll make up a story. I'm never going to see you again. So
my wife had the craziest Uber driver from LA, somewhere in LA a few years ago. And I can't remember. For some reason, we got separated and whatever we were doing, and she had an Uber back to the airport, and so did I. Mm-hmm. And so she got this guy that truly believed that aliens were like, talking to him. He went off for like the whole hour-long LA 5-mile-an-hour traffic Uber ride. Okay. She was freaked the fuck out by the time she got to the airport. She was like, I wasn't sure if this guy like was like on acid or like what his problem was, but he was just really, and he truly believed. And now I think, Mark, that he just made it up just to fuck with her.
Yeah, maybe. So anyway, so this couple kept going on, and you could tell she was kind of getting turned on.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird, right? Because you just find out that your boyfriend.
Not necessarily. We won't get into that. But anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
I don't know. So anyway, drop them off, and so that was the inspiration to Dash Cam Festival, is that every Uber driver, we've seen it all, we've heard it all. I mean, I've had like I said, over 5,000 rides. I had to think about 4 or 5 people vomit. Fortunately, not in the car.
Oh, you got lucky, huh?
I got lucky. It was outside. It was one lady, I picked her up one night. She was really distraught.
So I thought it'd be much more frequent than that. I thought it'd be like 2% of rides, probably 2% of rides. But you're telling me it's like 1 in 1,000.
I thought so too. That was my biggest fear, that somebody's going to puke in your car.
The smell is just dreadful.
1 out of every 1,000 rides. That's a reasonable. And there was this one woman I remember distinctly because it was a shared ride, and which means you pick up another customer. And I picked her up outside of a downtown bar. She had this sob story that her boyfriend cheated on her, broke up, so she's really hammered. Picked up another customer.
And do you become apathetic to these stories? Like you must, right? You're just like, oh yeah. And I would think that you start to like pigeonhole and categorize people and be like, I was one of those fucking people. Again.
Well, let me finish this story. So she starts, all of a sudden I'm driving and I hear this noise, right? I'm like, okay, what is this noise? And then I realized, oh, it's her puking, but she's puking into her purse.
Oh!
So I'm like, all right, good. That's good. You're doing it in your purse. You're not getting it on my car.
Oh.
And all right, then the of course the other passenger, I'm like, I'm sorry, whatever. So I finally get her to her place. She gets out and he's like, I feel bad for you, lady. You got, your boyfriend cheated on you, whatever. She gets out and then she's like crawling. I make sure, she's safe, but she's crawling to wherever she's going inside. Okay, then I leave. And then, I pull away, pull into a gas station, I look at the back seat of the car. There's a little bit of vomit on like the door jamb, just very little.
Yeah, and you lost your mind. Did you charge her 150?
I did.
You did. You took one fucking paper towel with water and you went, Voop.
Yes.
And you got $150 for it.
No, I think it was more like 250, but 200. I only share that.
Not that I would know what the charge is. Not
right.
that I knew.
Well, I only share that to answer your question of what do we think about?
Yeah.
What Uber drivers think about is, am I going to be making $250 from this passenger if they puke? It's very mercenary. There are drivers that I've met, that is their strategy. It's like, get the customer to puke, take the photos. And then
I have been with this guy. You know what his name is? His name is Jin. J-I-N. Yeah.
Okay.
He lives somewhere near my home in Northfield. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the motherfucker, every time I was drunk and coming home because I'm not driving. Okay.
Yeah.
When I was sober, he drove like a fucking perfect, smooth. He was like a smooth operator.
Right.
All the way through. When I was drunk.
See, like, did he take the long route?
Brakes continually, just like brake check me and brake check me and brake check me. Jen, I fucking hate you. Jen, I hate you. Whoever you are, I hate you.
How did you've gotten him more than once?
8 times. 8 times I've gotten Jen.
Wow.
When he shows up on the screen,
yeah,
I'm like, oh, not fucking Jen.
That is, I'm gonna have to follow up with you on that because, like I said, I've done over 5,000 rides. Probably
never
like
had the same
6,000.
rider.
I have had the same rider maybe once or twice.
That you know of, that you remember.
Yeah. Right.
Jen remembered me perfectly every time. Always remembered me.
I mean,
and every time I got him 8 times, and I'm not exaggerating. 8 times.
Where did the ride originate? From the city or from the suburbs?
Both ways. Because what happens is, he lives here and he does runs down to the downtown.
Yeah.
And in the morning when I didn't drive my car home, I'd have to take a ride back to the city, right, to get my car. And so he'd run both sides of this, on the weekends. And I'd get him sometimes the night before and then the morning of.
Did you schedule a ride?
No, I didn't schedule rides. Hell no. I didn't want Jen. I didn't want him. Okay.
God, this is so amazing because I can see why
you made so much money. You know how much it costs to go from downtown to Northfield? $80.
Yeah.
In a black Uber.
Right. Oh, did you do like the deluxe Uber Black?
I always did black because all the rest of them are just kind of like.
You didn't do Uber X?
No, I didn't do.
Okay, all right,
black, whatever black was.
Okay,
this is like years ago when I didn't care. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all right. That is informative because the number of Uber Black drivers is much less. So originating out of the suburbs, I can see because the suburbs, not that many drivers. If he lives there, he's probably posting there, just waiting for the ride.
Well, he was probably posting outside of the Franklin room, waiting for me to come out of there because he knew that. Okay, wait. Oh yeah, Brent must be down there. I'll wait for that $100 bill at 1.2x rate.
Well,
to get him home. So
I mean, I don't do black. I did Uber X.
You have a black car?
No, I drive a RAV4.
I've always thought that does it have to be black?
No, it can be any color.
It has to be a certain type of car?
No, so when Uber Black, it refers to there's a luxury
standard. But does
it
have to be a black car?
No, it could be any color. Well, I mean, for the black, yes. I think for Uber Black, they prefer it to be a black colored vehicle.
I'm just saying, I think that's kind of not appropriate, okay? Because I have a black SUV, or I had a black SUV, okay?
Yeah.
I bought a second black SUV just in case things turn to shit and I need to become an Uber driver with a black SUV. Okay.
Brent, never become an Uber driver, man.
But wait. Why can't I have a silver colored vehicle or a red one or a pink one for all that and still drive Uber Black?
Again, Uber has their own fucking rules. I think for that luxury car level black service, it has to be black.
Okay.
I've never done it, but you know.
Would you paint your car just to get to that level?
No, it's not about the painting. Because I have a RAV4, it doesn't qualify. They have certain car models that will
I've been
say,
ripped off on that before too.
Oh yeah.
So I used to spend $3,000 a month on Uber. Okay, it was crazy. We won't get into those years. Those years were just like me not appreciating anything about my financial state whatsoever. So
was that before you were married?
No. God, no.
Okay.
It was like about 4 years ago. I had Uber. I had Groupon as a top client, $500,000 a month. It was awesome. But bottom line is, I didn't appreciate anything. I was a total asshole. So bottom line is, like, I've done a lot of these. A few times you get picked up in a car and you're like, Uber Black? They're like, yeah, my car's in the shop. Sorry.
What kind of car was it?
It was like a Toyota Corolla. Or like a Honda Accord.
And you ordered Uber Black?
Of course. Yeah.
Huh.
And the car was supposed to be something, and then it wasn't. And I always hopped in because I needed a ride. But I always like,
Did it match what was on your app?
The person did, not the car. The car did not match. The person did.
What? Okay, so it was a person, and what was you were expecting, like a Mercedes or?
Right, but they pull up and they're like, "Hey, are you Brent Payne?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Hi, I'm Joseph." "Okay, cool." I look, I'm Joseph. Got it, right?
Yeah.
He's like, "Sorry, my car's in the shop. This is my car I have right now." I'm
like,
"Okay, cool." I hop in, but you could get away with murder with that, right?
Well, okay. This is the last portion. We talked about drugs, sex, and murder.
Yeah.
I think we're probably going to run out of time, but yes, Uber drivers are very sophisticated. There's a whole gray shadow market economy. I won't go into all the details, but yeah, there are things like rented accounts, people using other people's accounts.
But the taxi industry does this, right? Like the taxi, it comes from the taxi industry. So of course you're going to have this, like, market start to become the old school market, right? You're going to follow a new trend. It's going to disrupt. Then it's going to kind of become the same thing as it was before, right? But with new players. And I think what's happening with Uber is you're going to get to the same spot where it's like, hey, this is my Uber car. They're already leasing cars, right? No one owns their own car at the black level anyway. Right? It's always like, oh yeah, I got 8 cars out right now. These are the cars. I run a limo service. They're always giving you the business card to get you outside of Uber, right? It's like, hey, take my card. Like, Uber gets cut out of it. Of course, it all breaks the rules. No one cares.
Well, because Uber takes 50% of the fare.
But yeah, they were telling, I don't think it was that high when I was spending all that money. I think it was like 40 or 30%. But my point is, like, industries evolve and then they kind of become the same as what they were before, right? Because humans don't change through all of this. I mean, humanity remains fairly static.
Well, again, I come from this world, so I'm not trying to defend anybody, but everybody tries to game the system. They try and game the algorithm. You do that in your business, right?
I literally do that for a living.
Yes. So now that I'm thinking about this, what probably happened is, that driver started out with whatever vehicle, and then something happened. Maybe that vehicle broke down. Maybe he's loaning that vehicle to his cousin or his brother. He gets another vehicle, right? But how does the app know, right? Because he registered it as I'm driving a Mercedes.
And no one's bitched about it yet.
Nobody knows. So he shows up with whatever vehicle. He sees, oh, you're Brent. But you see, wait, this vehicle doesn't match. Now, I'm this other thing about me.
But he was super nice. That's the thing.
Well, yes. No,
you know why? Because they don't want you to fucking give them 2 stars and
Or they
bitch
want
about
you,
the
they
car.
want you to cancel. I mean, okay, you asked earlier on, what is it, my whole life? And I think I
Yeah.
gave a partial answer, but I'm an organizer now. I'm helping organize drivers to have better working conditions. But because I'm an Uber Lyft driver, I know all these tricks. I've seen it, right? And in the end, these guys are just trying to make a living,
Of course, yeah.
and so
And
they figured out how to game the system.
Mark, that's why every time I gave cash for my tip, I
Yeah,
never did it through the freaking app. No way.
right.
It was always, and I made sure I had a 20 in my pocket every single time I went out. Period.
Okay, but did you puke in the car?
We will save that for another day.
Okay, all
All right.
right.
So is that the end of your beer? I'm gonna do one more shot just so I can stay
Okay.
more drunk than you. Okay.
I gotta, Brent, I gotta pee.
Well, we're ending the call, so you're lucky.
We're in the overtime, so
yeah. So you're gonna chug that, so you can be a man, finish the beer, and then we're closing the call.
Now we're going there, right? In my manhood.
No, it's the end. What happens at the end of a night at a bar? Oh, come on, dude. Oh, you're not a man. Like, well, that's what happens. Okay, that's where we're at now on this call. Okay, you can do it.
You know what? We're not even at that point on this call because we never talked about your beautiful wife.
Yeah. All right. So here we go. Okay?
Yeah. While you talk about it, I'll try and finish this.
Okay. My wife is gorgeous. I love her to death. I got introduced to her through an industry insider. We met at a bar. It's called the West End Grill on Madison Avenue near United Center. We went to a Kid Rock concert. Neither one of us wanted to go. And the reason why we didn't want to go is because it's fucking Kid Rock.
Yes, Kid Rock.
No, it's question, like boom, chicka, boom, cha-boom, cha-boom, diggy, diggy, and that's it. Like you're out.
I cannot get my mind around, wrap my head around the fact that you and your wife went to a Kid Rock concert.
No, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. And so we went there, and I was, shame on me, I was with an ex-girlfriend in Southern California like 2 weeks before. Okay, whatever. Okay, and I had plans to meet with some other chick in Canada 2 weeks later. I was single. Like that was single Brent. Okay, judge me for what you want. Okay, I was dating, literally. Like dating. Yeah. And so I had no plans of like picking up any women that night. My goal was just to go to the concert, hang out with an industry guy, call it a day. And met this woman, and she was absolutely gorgeous.
You have a beautiful wife.
Oh, she's so pretty.
Yeah.
So she turned out to hit like the top 3 things for me. One, she was good looking, but she was also a teacher, which to me immediately made me think she'd be a great mom. Number 2, she was a bartender, meaning she could handle this type of shit, right? Drinking, carousing, inappropriateness. Like she could handle it, right? Fine. Third, she was a lead singer in a band. So she can handle a spotlight. She can handle what at the time was me pretty much life casting my entire life, right? Just life casting the whole thing.
And she's French, right?
No. She's her dad is Hungarian. And her mom is Viking-ish, question mark, like whatever. So that's her background. And we hit it off so well. And she kissed me, Mark. That's the thing. Okay. She kissed me. And at that point, I was like, I'm in. And then, the next morning happened because, whatever, like things happen when you go to bars and meet people and then you go to concerts and keep drinking and like stuff happens. Okay. Don't judge. And so the next morning, I thought for sure she's going to chew her arm off just to leave because I've been in that scenario too. And she was like, no, like she snuggled right back into me, slept for another 30, 45 minutes. And then I took her home, and I didn't even know her last name when I dropped her off. Didn't know her last name. And so I was like embarrassed.
Do you know her last name now?
I think it's Payne.
Okay.
I think it's Payne.
Right.
I hope so. And so dropped her. Like how I didn't answer that. Wasn't that great? Like I didn't have to answer that whole question because maybe I don't know her name. So anyway, we dropped off. It was great. And at the end, I had to go on a business trip. So I was working for Tribune at the same time. I think probably working with you or something. And then guess what? Had to go to a concert right after I got back from that trip because she wanted me to go to Iron and Wine, which to this day, I don't know any Iron and Wine songs. I even went to one. It's like, it's a little too, like, whatever that is for music for me. I like Nickelback, dude. Like, I don't like Iron and Wine. I like Nickelback. Yeah, thumbs down me, whatever. So as I'm heading into the concert, she screams out, "Let him in! It's my boyfriend!" It's like 4 days in. I'm like, shit. Ding, 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 done. And I proposed to her 6 months later. My friends thought I was insane. Like, they're like, "Dude, what the are you doing right now?" Like how I edited that. That was great. But married her a year later, like almost to the day of me proposing to her. Had the kid 9 months after that. Had my first daughter 2 years after that. Had my second daughter 5 years after that. And I am the happiest I've ever been. We have gone through some financial roller coasters, hitting peaks, like somewhere in that whole thing, to hitting valleys 3-4 years ago, to being back to where I'm comfortable and actually have self-esteem again. But not at my peak yet, again, but it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing, the roller coaster of life, and how, and I talk about this a lot. God can give me, go back to @OneGod. You're @OneGod on Twitter. God could hand me heaven on a silver platter. I don't want it. I don't want it. I want the challenge. I want the excitement. I want the ever-changing environment of life. I want that. I will have that for eternity. Heaven. I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want bliss. I don't want perfection. I want to constantly move and struggle and find ways to figure out and puzzle piece and put together. That's what I want in life, And so I can't resonate with the whole heaven thing. So why @OneGod? Why is that your Twitter
Well, Brent, and I really have to take a piss. I took OneGod because I was one of the first 3,000 people on Twitter back in 2006. So I'm an OG, and I still remember back then when you had to pick your username, and I really wanted God, GOD, but it was taken. Someone else already got it.
Blasphemous reasons, or did you want to be God?
No, I just thought, okay.
Are you religious? Let me ask that. Are you religious?
No, I'm basically a functional atheist.
Okay.
No, I wanted a memorable username, and as you probably know, a 3-letter username is a status symbol on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
And I don't want to get into that. People still get 3-letter usernames now if there's somebody, but back then, there was a land grab for usernames. Yeah. So I tried to get God. Somebody else already had it. I might still be able to get it because I think the person with God stopped tweeting.
God abandoned us? Is that what you're saying? God abandoned us on Twitter?
Maybe. Yeah. So OneGod was available. I grabbed it, and I've stuck with it since. There's really no religious connotation. I just wanted a memorable short username.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So I finished.
Cheers. Oh, you finished the beer. Did you pour it out under the camera?
No, yeah, I did. Watch the rebroadcast. I documented it. Look.
Yeah, no, I saw that. But did you pour it out just now, like to the dog? Do you have a dog that drank the rest of your beer?
We do have a dog, but no, I would never do that to a canine.
Cheers.
Yes, Brent.
To the end.
I really enjoyed this. I feel like this is not good for SEO because it's an hour and 26, and
you know what it is? You know what it is good for? It's good for the spirit of why I started this.
Yeah.
I got to know you.
Right.
I got to have a great time with you. I got to sit down at a bar with you and have the same exact fucking conversation we would have had at a bar. Well, and that means a lot to me, Mark. Like, it means a lot to me in COVID. It means a lot to me after COVID. The fact that we can have these conversations are great. The fact that you're dying and want to go pee and you have to wait for me to close this goddamn video is, it's also at a bar. You've been in a bar before where you have to go pee and you're dying and you're like, just shut up, dude. I have to go pee.
Well,
and that's where we are now.
Well,
and that's
Brent,
awesome.
You know, I have followed your Facebook posts for years, and we never even got into your extreme milk diet. You know, your obsession. We talked about
another session. For another session.
Obsession with Tesla, your kids, your business. I mean, I would love to do this again on Clubhouse, Twitter Spaces, whatever.
I'm committed to doing it on Clubhouse for sure.
Okay, sounds good.
I'll try and bring in the crazies that want to be on this thing, and we'll do it there. Okay.
All right.
All right, Mark. Peace out. Thank you very much for being on A Drink with Brent. I appreciate it.
I super enjoyed this. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.